Hello, Sula here from MistyHilltops.com. Thanks for stopping by. In this video, I'm working on a traveler's notebook layout titled Orange. I'll be scrapping this photo, which is about an orange tree, and I'm using the digital scrapbook kit Summer in Orange Country, which is available as freebie on my website MistyHilltops.com. And this layout is based on sketch number 11, which is a silhouette cut template that will be available on my blog as freebie, which is at MistyHilltops.com. So there are a number of freebies available for download, so if you haven't done it, go check it out. So here I started with just die cutting a bunch of flowers. I'm using the die cut set Be Bold Blooms Etched Dies by Spellbinders. And these come in layers, some of the flowers. There's lots of flowers and blooms and stuff in there. And so I used watercolor. I first watercolored some paper in the shades of that kit, that orange that I'm using in the kit. And so it comes in, that bloom comes in 3 layers, and then I added one stem to it. So here you see me put that flower together. And then there's these 2 other little flowers there that, or 3 that I also die cut. And I made sure when I watercolored that strip of paper that I was going to use, to make sure that I'm using different shades. So it's not just one strong color, but that there is some just the watercolor is in different shades. So more color, more water, less water, all that. And then here I have some strips. So this all comes in a in this sketch file, and I've also put a seam. So I ran this piece of paper through my sewing machine, but all of this is basically I printed from my silhouette. But I'm not yet putting down, you see me, I'm only putting down half of that page because I still have more borders to go on the left side there. And so if I already glued down that page, then I don't know where exactly to put it. Like I'm not going to be able to put these strips of paper underneath maybe. So I am first, before I put down that side, I'm first deciding how do I want to put down those little strips that I also cut from that pattern paper that comes with the kit, Summer in Orange Country. And I'm struggling, to be honest, with this. There is these strips, I have a hard time working with small strips. You can make them wider, obviously, if you don't want to fiddle around as much, but I just don't want to use too much of my or waste too much of my ink cartridge just for those strips. And so I just cut them in the size that I think I will need them. So then I decided, okay, I think I'm gonna just stick it down on this scalloped border. It comes with a cut file, and so you can use these sketches, by the way, just as a sketch. Just use it as a sketch and get the idea from there. Or you can use them as actual cut file, which I am doing. I am clipping my digital papers to these. Or if you don't want to use digital papers, you can just use these cut files to cut physical papers that you don't need to print first. So I go and print, drop and drag these, or clip my papers to the shapes that are in the sketch, and then I print it, and then I cut it, and then I use it on my page. But again, you can even use these sketches without printing. You can just use them as cut files if you want to, or just look at what size the paper. If it's square papers, and you can just use your trimmer, you can just check out the size and then go that way. So here now I'm finally ready to put down that part of the page because now I have those strips in place. I really kind of wanted to have like an orange sewing line going down that side, but I just didn't have that right shade. I don't think I have any orange. I have a number of colors of yarn, but I just didn't have the right color. And then I thought maybe I could do some stamp stitching, but I tried it on some just scrap paper. It just didn't have the effect that I wanted, and so I just went with white. And so here you see me, I'm arranging, and although I have it on the sketch, but then when you print it out and you actually have the papers, and then I run the card around the edges of my paper to kind of distress the edges. And so then it always turns out looking a little different. And so I want to see, like, should I put the papers this way? And I can't really decide. So I'm trying to see, or should I put the papers that way? And that little journaling card, like there's a full set of 3x4, and there are actual 3x4 journaling cards that come with that kit as just a freebie. But I obviously I'm working with a smaller size page, and so I just, when I printed it, just used a smaller size of that journaling card, and then I also then glued it on to some thicker cardstock, because the papers I try to use some not so thick cards, like just a little thicker than copy paper, but for my embellishments I do like to use more like cardstock. So my embellishments I do print on real cardstock, whereas the papers I print on something that's slightly thicker than cardstock. Than copy paper, excuse me. So here I am already deciding, okay, here you see me work with this strip of paper, because I'm trying to figure out where is going to be that center line, that where the two pages come together, because I will have to cut the two pages apart, and I don't want to that cut line to run right through some major part of the design of that paper, of that just page. And so I'm continuously checking, where does that line, that cut line go through the middle of that paper, through the center, so that I will be able to arrange things in a way. For example, if there's like a tiny bit of flower that reaches just across and needs to be cut, I just don't like that. So you see me move that whole design a little more to the right. But then I think I decide I am going with how I originally designed it in the Silhouette Studio software, with the papers in the vertical position there. And so again, I'm making sure where that cut line will be. I don't think I got it exactly perfectly, but like little imperfections are never actually a real big deal. They give a page the charm. Okay, so here I still want some the papers to show right, the background papers to show right, but I also want to make sure that I get the cut line there sorted out, and then it's supposed to be straight, though I don't mind sometimes when things are on the page a little offset and crooked. So here goes the journaling card, and then I realized, because I didn't cut the whole circle there. You see that circle with that scalloped, that little round scalloped border around it. So all these things will be in the cut file. That's a freebie sketch 11 that will be available by the time that I'm uploading this. It's not yet available, but will be available on my blog. So again, I'm only cutting half of that circle because I don't need to print the whole paper if I'm not using it. But I realized, oh no, when I glued it down, there is that tiny corner there that it shows that circle doesn't go all the way, and I just remedied that by just putting a little embellishment there. So here goes the photo, and it's a little orange tree that my mom has that has little oranges. I made a page earlier, and it's already on YouTube. You can already watch it, where there were no oranges, and she's like, oh, you need to make one that actually shows that it has oranges now, and the oranges are all in full are there now, that you can't eat them, she says. So anyway, so again, this is for my mom. My mom has a garden, and she's very happy with her garden. And here I'm just arranging the flowers that I previously prepped with die cuts and all that. And then there's a little embellishment from the kit. The butterfly comes with the kit. And so I'm just rubbing off some of the excess glue from that tiny little stem there. But what I love about my glue, just like I can just rub it off my fingers, and it never gets messy on my page. I can mess around with glue all I want, and it usually just does not get messy on my page, which is wonderful. So here I'm still adding the flower, and then that flower, you see I covered that little spot there that really was showing that circle wasn't going all the way, and so no problem, it was solved. And then here I'm putting down the title, and that is also from one of my die cuts, and I have a green cardstock. It's very hard for me to come by some pretty cardstock, but this was actually a greenish cardstock that came that was in our local craft store, and I'm so happy because it matches exactly the tones, the hues of green that I used in this kit. So it just works perfectly for this page to do the title. I wonder, should I have done it in orange since it was orange, but I wanted, I don't think I would have had the correct color except that the watercolor maybe. So that's what I do actually when I don't have solid colored paper, but I do have watercolor, and if I need something in that solid colored paper, I just give myself some watercolor and then color whatever I need, and then I could make a photo mat. I use it for my alphas and all that. So here you see me use my word strips. These word strips are available as freebies on my blog, where you can download them. They're garden words, and they're available as in English and German. So just go to Misty Hilltops and check out the freebies that are there. And what I do is I just cut them in strips, and then I go and check whatever words I want to use, and cut them and then add them to my page. Now on the back you still see that there is the sticker sheet that I made a long time ago, but it's a lot of work to make the cut lines for my silhouette. It's nice to have it that way, but I definitely think I prefer just the cutting of the word strips, because that goes so much faster. So anyway, here I am putting down the last few pieces of embellishments and deciding where that piece should go so it doesn't look so lost. And I think I decide to put it right there where that butterfly is, to work with that butterfly. And oops, it just dropped on my page, and there was already a tiny bit of glue, but again, I'm like, if I don't touch it, then that glue dries clear, and then if I never touch it, then you never see that there's a tiny spot of glue on that bottom part of the page. So anyway, now I'm ready to flip the side over, and then I use the back side for the cutting line. Now there is some cardstock there, so the cutting is a little hard at times, a bit challenging there. I have to work my way through, but that's it. So I finished cutting the page apart. Now it's a traveler's notebook spread that I just will use a hole punch. So anyway, this is the page. I'm going to leave you with some close-ups, and I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, consider giving this a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye.